Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Wow, it's so dark in here. It gets so dark in here at night. Hold on. There we go. Sorry about that. It was so dark in here. With the new lighting and the new camera. How is everyone today? This is going to be a much, I guess, anticipated stream. You guys have been asking me a lot about this, and I was like, well, do I not address it? Do I ignore it? I was trying to ignore it just because a lot of the stuff that gets sent to me gets blown out of proportion, and there's definitely accounts that are following me and taking things and twisting them and trying to paint me in a bad light. So it's always a balance of, is it worth putting out there? And you can't apologize for everything. You can't explain away everything. There's some things that are worth it and some things that aren't. But this one seems to be something that a lot of you have been bothered by. And I figured, well, even if I didn't really understand it at first, listening to enough of you, hearing you guys out and helping you guys better, like seeing your perspective, and then also knowing my own struggle with stuff, I thought we have got to address this. So earlier today, I spent the whole day at the hospital with my son, not using him as a shield, as some of you think. That was literally what I was doing this afternoon, and I've been receiving messages this afternoon while I was like at the hospital with him, going to regular appointments. And as soon as I got home and it's like an hour away, and I drove and blah blah blah, and I got home and I got a message from my friend Lindsay. A lot of you know that I have become friends with Lindsay Chrisley, who does a podcast with Kale Lowry from Teen Mom 2. And through my friendship with Lindsay, it started out, honest to God, just helping her with her stuff related to her parents, talking about stuff related to the case, that kind of stuff. And it's just morphed into talking about life and talking about our interests and makeup and fashion and, you know, just moms and raising boys. We both have little boys. And today, Lindsay, who I consider a good friend now, reached out to me and said, can you explain to me why I'm getting tagged in this stuff related to Chelsea? And I was like, okay, what? And I said, what do you mean? And she sent me a photo, and then I said, okay, yes, my son is totally fine. You guys, it was just like a regular appointment. We had to go to a regular appointment. All right, I'm gonna have to just not pay attention to my chat because I'm getting distracted here. Okay. In it, she shared a video of me from a couple weeks ago. Now, 2 weeks ago, actually not, a week and a half ago, my husband and I were sitting on a live stream on a Saturday night. Sometimes we do these where we just do open live streams. And they're usually more intimate. These are videos that don't typically get a ton of views. They're usually just my loyal subscribers that watch these kinds of videos. They're not the ones that go viral. And so during it, we were interacting with the chat. And if you follow the channel, or if you're new to the channel, I have done impressions of the different characters from the shows when I do my episode recaps. And typically the episode recaps are just me being silly as the characters are talking and doing my impressions of the various characters. And so over the course of several months, I have impressions of Farrah, I have impressions of Chelsea, I have impressions of Macy and Ryan and Mackenzie and Amber. I have not mastered Kale or Leah, and I don't have one for Cheyenne. And who else am I missing? Somebody else from Teen Mom OG. Oh, Caitlin. I have one for Nova, who's, by the way, my favorite little girl, because she's the cutest little girl in the whole world. And the Chelsea one is just usually me sitting there, and because a lot of the episodes I remember of Chelsea are from back like way, way early when she was still like young and dealing with Adam and like talking to her dad while she sat on a couch. And usually she was upset about something. And so usually my impressions of her would be her upset talking to Randy. Well, so people were asking me to do a bunch of impressions. So I don't even remember who I did that night. I did one of Nova. I did an impression of Nova when she was talking about seeing Carly, about how she was going to eat cake. Oh, I do Barb. Yeah, that's right. I do Barb. And if you remember the episode where she was like, I can eat cake with Carly. Like, it was really, really sweet. So I was doing it one of Nova. And then someone was like, oh, you need to do an impression of Chelsea. Well, my Chelsea one, it was tough because I haven't watched a lot of Teen Mom 2 this season. So it was like, what am I going to talk about that they haven't seen before? And I just like immediately, it was very impromptu and improv, not even thinking, going right off the cuff, thought of the last scene that I had seen of her. And the last episode I had seen was she was driving in a car with Cole. They had packed up all of the kids, and she was like upset with Cole. She was upset at the kids. She was like freaking out. She was like having anxiety, and she was like telling him that she was having anxiety, and then she was like telling him she needed her medication. It was not even thinking like, if I do this will make it seem like I'm mocking her mental illness. I did the impression on the cuff. Well, sadly, after the fact, people took that content, they put it into a clip, and it went out on Twitter, and it made it seem as though when I did it, I was doing it maliciously, with the intent of making her, like, mocking her mental illness. And that was definitely not what I was trying to do. I would think of it more as a really bad choice on my part, lapse in judgment. It wasn't done with a nasty intention, but I can see why people were upset. So when Lindsay reached out and we started talking about it, I explained that to her. And I'll just share. She said I could share what she said to me. So she gave me some advice, and I just want to tell you why. This is what I took to heart, because I hadn't really thought about it from this perspective. She said, I understand your job is to provide entertaining news and commentary. However, I think there are fine lines when it comes to someone's mental health, and she didn't deserve that. And even though someone shares a struggle on TV doesn't mean they should be dehumanized because they put their story out there. And I was like, oh, yeah. Chelsea is very brave. She puts it out there. And that was like a bad choice on my part. I made a really bad mistake. I need to apologize. So later, after talking through some things with her, and I made a statement, she actually helped. Thank you, Lindsay Chrisley. I love you. You are such a good friend to me. And I wrote, over the course of my career, I've done a lot of things to entertain my readers and subscribers. During a recent live stream, I did impressions of several cast members from Teen Mom. During an impression of Chelsea DeBoer, I used a scene from the last episode I watched. In the impression, I commented about her anxiety and needing medication. This was taken directly from the episode. Realizing now that I too suffer from ADHD and anxiety, I see now why many of you are upset with this impression. It seems as though I mocked her mental illness. However, I wasn't thinking about her mental illness when I was doing the impression. I was thinking about the last clip I remembered of her. An unfortunate lapse in my judgment and memory led me to sharing the impression that has upset so many of you. I deeply apologize to Chelsea for upsetting her. Sharing her journey with anxiety takes courage and strength. My lapse of judgment has not hurt not only her, but also her fans. I truly apologize to all of you. I will continue to do better in my work on my channel. And remember that reality stars are human that don't deserve to be shamed. So that's what I shared for my apology, and I definitely stand by that. I'm sorry that I did that. I was Cece. I was sharing my statement from Twitter. So, I was sharing my statement from Twitter. That's what I put on Twitter. And now I am sharing with you where I'm coming from. So I put that out on Twitter. Then I talked to Lindsay a little bit more. And then she said, you should maybe just do a video and talk about it. She's like, it's scary. You have to be vulnerable. But there's no shame in acknowledging your mistakes and apologizing and sharing your vulnerability. So I am sorry to you guys that I made the video. I'm sorry I did the impression of her. I'm sorry that I was not thinking. I should have thought more carefully about what I said. I have been definitely struggling with the growth of this channel. It's been growing very, very quickly. And I'm sorry that I wasn't thinking more clearly when I made that choice. I never intended to hurt any of you guys. I never intended to make you guys feel bad. I never intended to make it be about her. I never intended for it to make it about the mental illness, and I'm sorry that I've hurt you guys. I can see in the chat that a lot of you are angry at me, and that's totally fine. You are entitled to feel that way. I can't like go back and change what I did. I can't Hey Cece. Okay. So why is Lindsay getting involved? Well, because Lindsay is friends with me and Lindsay is friends with Chelsea. And Lindsay cares about both of us. And I did something that hurt Chelsea, and Lindsay wanted to see why and help me talk through it. It's hard for me on this platform to answer all of your questions. And I have been struggling with the growth on this channel. All of you guys have so many things that you want me to answer to. Some of them I can't, others I can. I can't say anything more than I didn't mean for it to be that way. If you guys don't believe me, I don't know what to say. Just because it happened, I have ADHD, and you're going to say this is an excuse, but it's not. Part of ADHD means that you have issues with impulsivity. And sometimes when my medication wears off, I do things impulsively without necessarily thinking about what I'm doing and how it'll impact other people. That night, my ADHD medication had clearly worn off. I also suffer from panic disorder. I also suffer from anxiety, and I have OCD. So I have all of these things that I'm struggling with the same panic attacks that Chelsea has. And so I understand why it looks like I'm doing that, and I get it. It's terrible. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you guys feel that way. I have dealt with anxiety attacks and panic disorder my whole life. And you guys are entitled to say shame on me, I hate you. But I would also like to remind you that every single person makes mistakes. I'll put on slow mode, hold on. Okay, slow mode is on. See, I don't have a sense of humor about mental illness, Jennifer, impulsivity, and also having a sense of humor of sometimes about mental health issues. Otherwise, it will bring you down. See, I don't have a sense of humor about mental illness, and I think that's the part where you guys aren't getting. I impulsively picked a scene from the show without thinking about what the content was that I was saying. And I did it off the cuff and off the fly. And I realize now that it was wrong to do that because it appears as though I'm making fun of her mental illness, which was not my intention. It can not be my intention to hurt her feelings, but it doesn't mean I didn't hurt her feelings. Does that make sense? My intention was not to mock the mental illness. It was to do an impression. But indirectly, it mocked her mental illness, and I'm sorry for that. And the best that I can do is share with you that I made a mistake. I'm sorry. And if any of you were in this same position, I would hope that you realize that when you are watched by thousands of people and have a platform and people ask things of you constantly and you don't have time to think through things, and part of your job is being relatable and having fun with the people that subscribe to you, sometimes, and everyone's watching you and everyone's waiting for you to screw up, it makes things easy to make mistakes. And I have been learning a lot in the last year about all of this. And I just want to say that I'm really grateful because the people that know me, like Lindsay, and I don't think you guys should be shocked that it took someone like Lindsay to talk to me about this, because you guys don't know me. Lindsay knows me. Like, you guys know the person that's on the screen, right? But I don't interact with you guys every single day. I'm not talking to you guys every day about what I'm going through. I'm not sharing my intimate details of my life, because this channel is about entertainment and it's about talking about reality shows and celebrity news. So I am typically not the focal point of the context of what I'm sharing to you. And why would it take someone like Lindsay? Because she's my friend. And if your friend came to you and said, listen, I'm concerned about something you did, and they know you and they've seen your heart and know what you care about and know that it's contradictory to what you stand for, and they tell you that, of course that person's going to make a difference. That's why we have friends. We ask our friends to hold us accountable. So no, 8 Crescent said, when other people say they did something because of a mental illness, you have said many, many times it's not an excuse. But all of a sudden now it's something you did can be used as an excuse. I did not use it as an excuse. I explained as an explanation what happens with ADHD. And whether or not you guys want to believe that, I can't. It's not an excuse, it's an explanation. We all make crappy choices. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. You guys are human, I'm human. And if the tables were turned and you made a mistake and you apologized, I would hope to God that I would hope that if you apologize, I would accept your apology and say, you know what, it's true, we all mess up. And all you can do is decide whether or not you believe me. And some of you guys are going to hate me no matter what. And I can't change that. But if you're here to not hear what I'm saying and simply say that this is what you did, I don't care what you said, it doesn't matter, that's fine. You are entitled to feel that way. I can only tell you that I am truly sorry for what I said. And okay, hold on one second. Another one of my friends asked if he could join. So one second.
Yo,
Hi, buddy.
what's up?
Not much. How are you?
Good. Your guy wouldn't let me shamelessly plug my Snapchat.
Oh. Hey, you guys. Matt Beyer has a new Snapchat, and he would like you to follow him if you can.
Everybody follow me.
Now, what are you really wanting me to do here?
I don't know. What's up? What are you talking about?
Do you even pay attention to what I'm talking about?
And I heard you apologizing about something. I don't know what that was, and what was it?
You're not even watching.
No, I was literally shamelessly self-promoting for the first time ever. No, really. Who you apologizing to, Chelsea?
Yes, because of the impressions that I did with her related to an episode where she was talking about her. You've seen me do my impressions, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I did an impression of her related to the anxiety.
You want me to get the heat off of you and do my Cole impression?
No.
Just kidding. Don't worry about it. Don't apologize. I mean, if you're gonna apologize for that, you're gonna apologize for everything you've ever said, and it's just not. Listen, we're in the public eye. Make fun. Do what you gotta do. Make fun of me. I don't care.
Make fun of you.
Yeah, as long as I can shamelessly promote my new Snapchat.
Oh, Matt.
Don't worry about it, Katie. You got enough going on right now. Don't worry about that stuff. Seriously. Just do your thing. Keep doing what you do.
Okay.
These people that are watching you right now all like you. Well, most of them anyway. So
Some of them.
You don't owe anybody an apology for anything. You know that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I personally, when it comes to the cast of Teen Mom, never heard you purposely just say something mean about somebody. Minus, of course, the streams that you used to do about me before you and I became friends. But we won't talk about those.
Oh, Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was awesome, by the way. That's my new nickname. It's going to be my new Twitter handle, Mr. Irrelevant.
Mr. Irrelevant. Yes. Yes.
But seriously, don't worry about that stuff. I mean, I think that a whole lot worse things have been said and done to the cast of Teen Mom than that. So, just don't stress about it. And I can see you're stressing right now. Just don't stress.
I think the hardest part, and maybe you can explain this to people, because I feel like sometimes when I say this, it falls on deaf ears, is that when you're in the public eye, you're under a microscope.
Oh, yeah.
And every...
you say is 10 times worse than you really meant.
Right.
So... But you're never going to be able to please everybody with everything that you say. So, unless it really warrants an apology, then, in my opinion, you have nothing to apologize for. But if it makes you feel better about it, then feel free. But, I've said stuff in the past that I've apologized for, and then stuff in the past that I refuse to apologize for. And sometimes you're saying something jokingly, and If people can't get a sense of humor, but if you can't laugh at yourself, don't stand in front of the TV camera. You
Right.
know,
Well,
that's
yeah,
what.
and like I think it's funny when people do impressions of me. Like somebody on Twitter did an impression of me talking about my sources, and I shared it, and I actually thought it was hilarious because the impression was so spot on. It was like hilarious. And then people were like, "Oh, you just shared that because you are upset." And I'm like, "No, I actually think it's funny." But
Oh my God! If I got upset with every impression somebody did of me, I'd like be on a therapist's couch right now. But when I think of your voice, I picture you as the Francis McDormand character in Fargo.
oh gosh.
But you know, who cares? You're in the public eye now. You're gonna get it from all sides. Welcome to hell. This
Yeah.
is what it's like. So, but I know you're stressing over stuff, and just don't stress. It's
All
it's
right.
so not worth it. Once you turn the computer off, don't even think about this stuff.
Okay.
You know. Deal?
Yep, deal. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks for the shameless self promotion. Bye.
Bye. I am doing my best and I have apologized and I am sorry and I'm going to move forward. I'm going to be more sensitive to what I deliver. I'm going to think more thoroughly about what I say. I am going to keep in mind like a lot of your guys' opinions. And on this specific case, I agree. I shouldn't have done it, and I'm sorry. I will say moving forward, it's not going to be every time I say something that upsets you will warrant an apology. I'm going to upset people for a lot of different reasons. Some people hate me simply because I am alive. I mean, that's the truth. Some people literally just hate me. So if something is, I think, after time and thought and thinking through things and having friends talk to me, I will absolutely own up to it. And I'm owning up for it right now. And I'm sorry for you. Sorry to all of you for doing that. And I will always be judged. And I don't at all expect that I won't be. And I don't expect that this won't be hard. And I know I'm going to make more mistakes. And the best thing that I can do is learn and grow. And that's what Lindsay told me. She said the best thing you can do is learn and grow. And telling you guys about my own anxiety and my own ADHD is not an excuse. It's literally to tell you that this is something I have. I do struggle with it. Explaining to you what happens when my medication wears off isn't an excuse. It's the truth. And if you have ADHD and you know what it's like to have ADHD and you struggle with verbal impulsivity and control, then you'll understand what I'm talking about. So, and some of you guys, no matter what I do, like Unicorn and Rainbow says, you just keep doing effed up stuff. Well, okay, I'm sorry. And if you are of that and you believe that, then I don't know what I can say. For some of you, nothing I say will satisfy you. And then other people, like Caitlin, says that unconditional support from me always. So that's what I'm going to hang on to. I'm going to hang on to all the positive things that you guys say to me. I'm not going to hang on to the hate. And I'm just going to move forward because this is what I do and I love my job and I wouldn't be able to do this without you. So I am signing off and I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Have a great day. Bye.